Rashad, I've been to a lot of fights, but you had a fight coming up, and I followed your fights. You were something else, man, watching you fight. We're the same age. I think you and I are maybe a year apart. I don't know exactly how old you're. 42. Okay, I'm 43. So same era. I'm watching. You're coming up. I'm just watching how you're fighting. My buddy Len Cooper, who was one of our VPs in a company, I took him to the fight. It's his birthday yesterday, but happy birthday, Len Cooper. Took him to go watch you and Jackson fight, which was insane to go watch you fight. But walk us through the past, man, how you got into it. Everybody's got a different story, how they get into the UFC. What's your story coming up?
Well, I was in Lansing, Michigan, and I was working at this bar, and I was just graduated from college, and I was, doing a little bit of bouncing work, and a fight broke out. And I was a UFC fan back in the day, and I used to watch it back in 1993 when it first came out. So it went through that dark area where not a lot of people knew about it and knew what was going on with it. And a fight broke out, and the guy was like, oh, man, he put him in a rear naked choke. Now, when he said that, it kind of like, I was like, oh, okay, not many people know what that was. So then I started to inquire, okay, how'd you know what that was? And then he said that he trains NHB because it was called No Holds Bar at the time. And I was like, okay, where you do that at? And he told me where he did it at. And, we went to the gym the following Monday, and it was this beat down, run down, like dilapidated building, and it had rats and stuff in it. And we go in there, this building, and I'm thinking I'm about to get set up and robbed. I'm like, oh, man, this don't seem safe at all.
In Michigan, nonetheless.
In Michigan,
Detroit
yeah.
area, Lansing,
Lansing, Michigan. It was just like a very seedy area. And we go to the room where they're training at, and it's a little small room, like 12 by 9, and these guys are just beating the hell out of each other. They're just like taking turns, going against each other, just like full-on sparring, just nothing I ever seen before. So I went and I tried it that day, and I was like hooked. So I kept on going there and kept training with those guys, and then after a while, we just got tired of beating the hell out of each other. And it was like a real-life fight club, like, it was like doctors, lawyers, and like
underground type
of guys. Yeah, and that's what we'll do for training. But we were just beating the hell out of each other, so we wanted some new meat, and we started to we linked up with Dan Severin. And Dan Severin was in Coldwater, Michigan, so we started driving out to Coldwater, Michigan, and training with those guys. Now, at the time, Dan Severin was doing his fight promotion, which was in Indiana, Angola, Indiana, and on the Indian reservations, because the UFC at the time was only allowed to be in Vegas. And Dan was like, oh, I'm going to have, the only show outside of Vegas, So we'll fight on these Indian reservations. And Dan Severin was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. And then he said to me, I have an opportunity to have one of my, they'll look at one of my guys. But the thing about it is, have you heard of The Ultimate Fighter? And I was like, yeah, I heard of The Ultimate Fighter. I watched the first season. And then he says, okay, well, they're doing a second season, but it's heavyweights though. And he said, you're way too small. You're like, 195 pounds. And I was like, I can be heavyweight. So I just started eating a lot of carbs and just bulking up as big as I could get. And, I got on The Ultimate Fighter show. And from there, I won The Ultimate Fighter show, and then that was how my UFC career started. But it was, started in Lansing, Michigan.
Now, were you a fight, like if we're in high school, did you have a reputation for a guy that don't mess with Rashad? Or did you have that kind of reputation?
Yeah, I was a scrapper. Okay. I was a scrapper in high school, yeah.
At what age did people know? Like, at what age you knew you could fight?
Oh, man, probably like in 5th grade. I was fighting in 5th grade.
You were that dude in 5th grade that's like, oh, he's going to roll up on you, 5th grade stuff.
Well, I mean, because I went to like a majority white school, so
kick all those white boys' asses.
Well,
all of them.
I was always a target. You know what I'm saying? They always say stuff. So I mean, I would fight on the way home from school. Walking home from school, my brother would make me fight people.
He would make you fight people?
Yeah, he'd tell me to fight him.
In what ways? It's just, hey, that guy said something to you, go fight him, or what?
Yeah, I mean, if like somebody like looked at me a certain way, he'd be like, yo, go fight him. And if
older brother,
yeah. And if I didn't fight that guy, then he'll beat me up. So
was he a fighter? Was he a tough guy himself?
Yeah, he was a tough guy. Yeah, he was.
Sounds like he was more like a promoter, Don King vibe. Just, all right, go fight that guy. Well, I mean, take his lunch money.
Yeah, and you can beat that guy. We're gonna come here next week. And you're gonna beat his big
Is it
brother.
because you were scared of your older brother and didn't want him to whoop your ass? Was it just like you had that itch inside? What was that relationship with your brother?
Well, I mean, I was scared of my older brother, but at the same time, him and I will fight all the time. Mm-hmm. And we just grew up fighting.
How many years older is he than you?
He's 2 years older than me.
This is like Tico and Dylan. Pat's kids.
So Dylan yesterday for the first time said something very weird to me. And, you know, he's taking classes right now. He's going to Barra 3 times a week, 2 times a week. And he's
His
doing
middle son is just an absolute stud.
swim every day.
Stud.
And he's now doing soccer. He's doing all these other things. Like just one of these guys that's very athletic. Like you see him, you're going to say, this guy's going to play something, right?
Yeah.
The Middle Eastern Bojack.
But he just loves, like he loves fighting. Like there's something about it that he likes. He's 8 years old. First time he's ever said something like this. He says, Dad, one day I'm going to be the greatest fighter in the world. I said,
Wow.
what?
He
He's
said
never,
this.
like he's
Wow.
never said I'm going to be the greatest anything. Just out of nowhere, he just said, Daddy, you know what? I want to also learn how to box. I want to also learn how to do this. So, by the way, you got to keep this in mind. We don't watch videos. Like, we don't sit here and say, let's watch this fight video. Let's watch this YouTube video. This guy's taking Barra. His coach has inspired him, and he says, I want to be the best fighter in the world one day. So, I don't know if it starts there or not. Obviously, a lot of kids probably have said this before, but he has that.
Can I say one thing
Yeah.
about Dylan? We're making him sound like he's some asshole, tough, like the sweetest
Sweetest
nicest
guy.
kid.
Yeah.
So the fact that he wants to be it's
Makes no sense
yeah.
because he's
It's
such
almost
a...
like you. You're such like just a sweet, nice guy, at least from what I can tell so far.
Well,
But you're
once
not
Paul
gonna-
comes here, a different side's gonna show up.
But it's interesting. How do you balance like the sugar, the sweet side, with just knocking mofos out? How does that duopoly work?
Well, I mean, it's you know, I'd say whatever bothers me in life, and I just leave it for the training. You know, I learned at a young age to kind of, you know, learn how to put my frustrations into sports and things like that. So now it just becomes second nature to me. So outside and in real life, you know, I'm just kind of calm and just relaxed, and I can take a lot of shit. And then when it comes
Is
down,
it a switch?
it's a switch, yeah.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.